Brad here from 4Player Network, and these are some of our very favorite games from E3 2017. Okay, so a game I'm very excited about from E3 2017 is Metroid Samus Returns. This is a remake of okay, listen guys. I'm worried about this game. The reason you're seeing this video is because I'm looping in the announcement of Metroid Prime 4 with Samus Returns, because both of these games together are what have me excited, because it means Nintendo still cares about Metroid, and that's a good thing. Okay. Y'all know how I feel about Mercury Steam. I hate Mercury Steam. I kind of wish there would just be a plane crash. I don't mean that. I don't mean that. They did horrible things to Castlevania, and that upset me. They made Jericho, and that's literally one of the worst video games I've ever played, or anyone's ever played. Really, I hate Mercury Steam. But what they're doing here with Samus Returns is they're remaking Metroid 2 Return of Samus, which was a Game Boy game. It was old. It was pre-Super Metroid. It was kind of iffy. And you know what? The fact that they have that as their base, and the fact that what they've shown looks pretty solid, means I think this game is going to end up being pretty alright. Now the question is pretty alright good enough for Metroid? Maybe if people buy the fucking game and buy Metroid Prime 4 and Metroid can start coming out more regularly again, maybe that's okay. But there is AM2R, which was a fan remake of that second Metroid game, which was great. A dope-ass game. It was really, really great. Can Mercury Steam make a better remake to Metroid 2? I'm somewhat skeptical. You know, what they showed looks kind of cool. There's some new stuff in there. That counter looks pretty fresh. But the truth is, what I saw of it, and I did see all the footage that they showed at the Treehouse and some of the other outlets that got to play it, is it looks a little easy. Looks a little uninspired. Like some of the power-ups, they're just kind of sitting out there. There didn't really seem to be much exploration or puzzles to like find them. And maybe the original Metroid 2 was like that. But you know what? AM2R really spiced things up. So if these guys, if Mercury Steam gets bopped by a fan remake, that looks a little embarrassing. But it's coming out soon. I'm definitely gonna get it. I'm excited that Metroid is a thing again. But really what I'm hoping for is that Metroid Prime 4 is a truly great Metroid game, because I don't think that this series will survive at the hands of Mercury Steam. I mean, Castlevania sure as hell didn't. So, I'm a little worried about Metroid Prime 4 also, because it's not Retro Studios. It's a new studio within Nintendo, and that's a good thing as long as, you know, nobody from Mercury Steam goes near it. And I'm just being mean now. I'm being mean. Mercury Steam, they also made Scrapland, which was okay. Anybody ever play Scrapland? I mean, it's kind of boring. You don't really do much except walk around and talk to things, and then you fly your ship, which has like the most awful controls I've ever seen in a video game. Huh. Mercury Steam. But we'll see. That Castlevania Mirror of Fate on 3DS was kind of garbo. They kind of missed all of the things that made those Igavania games really great when they were on handheld. So I'm a little worried, but it looks cool. You can kind of aim your shots, which is new. You can kind of aim your shots. I mean, you kind of got to stand in place while you do it. We'll see. I'm going to get it. I'm excited. Metroid Prime 4. Ignore the overlay. This isn't just Metroid Returns or Samus Returns. This is both Metroid games. This is the return of Metroid. This is what excited me from E3, and hopefully you're excited too, and you buy these games, because I want more and more and more Metroid games. It's going to be so great.
It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to speak up for the fans like me who still love and look forward to the next Assassin's Creed. And despite all the negativity and cynicism out there, there's still a lot of reasons to look forward to Assassin's Creed Origins in October. For starters, the game marks the first time since the series' inception that Ubisoft has actually taken a year off to focus on development. It's also from the team that brought you Assassin's Creed Black Flag, a game which was hugely popular and broke the mold in some pretty serious ways. With that said, I'm also pretty interested to see what a team like that does with a more traditional Assassin's Creed game. It doesn't look like they'll be able to lean too heavily on the naval combat or siege traversal to distract people from the fact that they are indeed playing an Assassin's Creed game. Now, I'll be honest, my hands-on time with this game at E3 was kind of a mess, but not for the reasons you might assume. The game felt like it had changed enough from a structure and control perspective that I legit had no idea what I was doing. Of course, that's not to say it didn't resemble an Assassin's Creed game, it certainly did. It just felt to me like the extra time in the oven may have had a bigger impact than I was expecting. For me though, it's always been about the setting, and Egypt has been at the top of my list since the earliest days of the franchise. It's such a wildly different world than anything we've seen before from the series, and I really can't wait to explore it from top to bottom. I'm especially excited about the Egyptian ecosystem that they've teased so far, like hippos and alligators and tigers and that kind of stuff. It's something that I felt they've always done really well, and it looks to play an even bigger role this time around. On top of that, it's just a culture and a time period that's always fascinated me, yet has been tragically underrepresented in gaming, and since Prince of Persia is long since dormant, Assassin's Creed is gonna have to step it up and fill those shoes. And as someone who has always been intrigued and invested in the complex mythos of Assassin's Creed, I also have high hopes that the story being told here will have a significant impact on the way that myself and other fans of the series look at the series going forward. I mean, with a cliche title like Origins, it should at least deliver on the promises that that name implies, right? Now, I know a lot of you out there don't particularly care for the science fiction melodrama that I happen to adore, and that's fine. It looks like there are a lot of changes to the gameplay to make up for that. It sports a brand new skill tree system, some shiny new RPG elements, and a more fluid structure overall. Honestly, I have faith that this game will be good, if they can avoid any technical hiccups at launch, which they've been known to have in the past. My only hope now is that this game can reinvigorate interest in the present-day storyline and get the overarching story as a whole back on a more palatable track. So if you're on the fence about this one, if you feel like you've been burned in the past, this seems like a perfect opportunity to give them one last chance to grab your interest. And if you're a fan like me, I say October 27th can't come soon enough.
It had been hinted at for a couple years now, most prominently with the teaser in Bethesda's 2016 press conference, but the sequel to the surprisingly moving and emotional take of anti-Nazi violence from 2014 is finally coming out in just a scant few months. Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, picks up exactly where the first one left off and looks to be the Empire Strikes Back of the franchise. BJ Blazkowicz and friends are on the run after having finally defeated General Deathset at the end of the first game, and the fight is brought to probably the most exciting destination one can imagine the franchise heading to: America. Sure, we can easily agree that post-Nazi victory dystopian fiction is one of the more common, and sadly more appropriate, genres of storytelling that we've got these days, but Wolfenstein, for all of its violent, dramatic style that Machine Games presented us just a couple years back, it couldn't feel more appealing to play at the moment. And indeed, it's still a blast to play. Thanks to Nolan, I was able to play the opening half hour of the game, which, like the previous game, had you delving into some wonderful dark humor as you rolled around in a wheelchair of a stolen submarine, blowing away the soldiers of the Third Reich, all complete with wheelchair controls and level design limitations thereof. It was fantastic, and I can't wait to play more. While The New Colossus wasn't quite the best thing I played at E3 this year, it was easily one of the best things I got to see. I can't wait to play it once it comes out in late October.
Holy crap, wouldn't you know it? It's a Mobile Suit Gundam game that's actually good! Oh, be still my beating heart. Granted, this is probably only news to me, since the Gundam Versus series has actually been really popular for quite a while now, both in the home console and portable console markets, and real big in the arcade scene over in Japan for a while. In fact, this game, Gundam Versus, has been in arcades for several years from what I understand, and is now, as of this month, released in Japan on PS4, but that doesn't matter because I know it'll be worth the wait. So this game is a very interesting iteration on a sort of arena fighting game concept that was originally built around 2v2 battles. Now with Gundam Versus, I think they're adding 3v3 battles as well, but 2v2 has always been the core of the series, and everything about the game's systems are kind of balanced around two people working together, right down to a shared health system where the value of the mobile suit that you're using is directly correlated to how much health your team loses every time you die. So you can't just hop in like Gundam Wing and be like, oh, I'm just going to fly around and shoot everybody and be really fucking cool, boo, 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 boo. Because if you get shot down, you're taking out a huge chunk of your team's resources. So it takes a lot of planning, a lot of strategizing, a lot of teamwork. It's a very interesting concept. Honestly, it's a little daunting from where I'm sitting for getting into it for the first time. But, I mean, god damn, I love Gundam so much that I just might be willing to stick this one out. I mean, how could you not love it? It's giant robots, and it's space, and it's explosions, and lightsabers, and all this really heavy-handed philosophy, and what is the purpose of war, and humanity, and blah, 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 and all this stuff. I love it. I just love it. I can't even properly articulate myself. See, I'm getting all worked up about it. Honestly, the most surprising thing to me about this game is that they're launching with 98 separate mobile suits. 98 playable mobile suits. You have to unlock some of them, from what I understand, through play, but most of them will be kind of just there, available for you at launch. Which seems crazy to me. A fighting game that has like 98 different competitors, and they're already talking about adding more after launch as DLC, which seems just insane to me. Well, it did seem insane to me until I actually sat and looked at the list of mobile suits, and then I realized that there was a handful of mobile suits that I really, really like that I did not see represented anywhere on the list. I mean, of course, they have a lot of the big obvious ones. Pretty much anything that is a Gundam, with the exception of maybe some weird, crazy Gundams from, like, Mobile Fighter G Gundam, like the Giant Fish Gundam, or the Windmill Gundam, whatever the fuck it was called, or the Giant Bull Gundam, or the Cactus Gundam, or the, you know, whatever the fuck they were. But for the most part, the Universal Sentry Gundams will all be represented. That's crazy exciting. I would have liked to see a few more interesting kind of deep-cut mobile suits here and there, but you know, hey, I'm just really snobby like that, I guess. Ever since we got back from LA, I've actually been on a huge Mobile Suit Gundam kick. I've been going through all the Universal Sentry Gundam series. I've been building Gunpla models again. Like, playing this game at E3 has kind of just set the entire course for my summer free time now. So, fuck yeah, I'm excited about Gundam Versus. Luckily, we don't have to wait too much longer. I think it's coming out in September or something like that. Sometime later this year. I can't wait. I can't fucking wait.
This is a game I had never heard of, and I haven't really heard a whole lot of buzz around it since. It had a very short trailer during the Microsoft press conference, and I didn't even know it was on the show floor until the very last day because it was tucked away in the corner of the Microsoft booth behind Sea of Thieves. One of the aspects of the Artful Escape that has me so excited is that I have no idea what it is about. I know the synopsis. You play a teenage guitar prodigy named Francis Vendetti, who on the night of his first performance sets out on the psychedelic, multidimensional journey to inspire his stage persona. The trailer shows a great art style that kind of reminded me of Night in the Woods with a 2D paper-like character running through a town, but then things change. While Francis is on his adventure, at any point you can jump into the air and burst out an epic riff to stay afloat in a blaze of rock glory. I was running through the woods and I came across this strange beast and we started to jam together. Close Encounters of the Third Kind style, where he would play a note and I would echo it and we would go back and forth. After some Shredding on my guitar through beams of light, I came across a giant ghostly figure who told me to just jump off the cliff. And as I did, in midair, I pulled out a beam of light and proceeded to snowboard down a mountain? Like, what is this game? I need to know more. I need the Artful Escape of Francis Vendetti.